Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and welcome back to another episode of... It appears that some of you have noticed that, yes, the new welcome stream is on there. That's technically a thing from StreamYard themselves. I mentioned this before, but for some reason, on the Butter Bunch account that I have for StreamYard, I have access to more overlays and video clips than I had on here. And how did I get them back, you ask? Well, I simply recorded them on that version, downloaded them as in, you know, like edited out in the video, and put them on as images, which means that I have access to a few new things, like for example this BRB thing that I might use at some point. We also supposedly had one that was like for the end of the stream, like a thank you one, but that one hasn't seemed to have loaded as of yet. We have that 6-second thing that we just saw right there. And for good measure, I also made sure to bring back something that I should have put at the start of this video, but forgot to actually import, and that was this. The starting screen that everyone seems to miss. That one, yeah, it's back, or it's going to be back. If I remember to put it in for the next episode, it'll be back then. So yeah, there we go. It seems like Sadi is ready. My heart skipped a beat for a moment, but here we are. Here we are indeed. After 8 months or 7 months, really, of hiatus time, or I guess of preparation time, we have reached part two of this two-parter in the long saga that is finding Sadi's old friend. Episode 13. Unlucky for some, but we'll see if it's lucky for our main characters or not. I have no idea. This will be interesting, especially because there's been a good bit since we reviewed the previous episode. Let's see a memory of work if it would be a struggle. I did watch episodes 11 and 12 to remind myself of just like the most recent stuff, because the thing with Finding Shy's old friend is story-wise, there are a lot of things that will carry over, but not everything. So yeah, one episode or two going back is usually where you'll get if you want to follow along decently well. That's what it seems. So who knows? Let's see. I'm currently dog sitting, so if I went camping, I didn't feel like joining. Oh, I see. Fair enough then. My family and I watched Rings of Power just now because season 2 episode 1 just came out. So I was busy being the designated memory person, reminding people of what happened previously, because we'd all forgotten to some extent. Anyway, the answer is no, I do not have guests, at least not for tonight, which is going to be interesting because it means that this vid might be a very short review on the grounds that with these I tend to like double them up because they were usually quite short in nature. I forgot how long this video actually was, so I guess we'll import it now and we'll see. Because I have it saved, I just completely forgot to check the duration. Because I just got it from Josh's thing. Why is it not here? I feel like there are two separate directories that these things go to nowadays, and I have no idea why there's two different ones. Anyway, here we go. Episode 13, Problems to Deal. Problems to deal with, I presume. Oh, we got it previously. Okay, so that's good. And the episode length itself is I don't know. It will say in a second. I guess I have to press play before it officially tells me. Oh well. Oh, you gave me a BRB. Oh yeah, that's right. You gave me the BRB one. While recovering mentally. You know what? That one's better. That one's way better. I'll use that one. Okay. You say, you took a long break. Well, too long. Well, I mean, I'm imagining that whenever shows start taking long breaks between different like episodes, usually it's because the production ends up being ends up like heightening at that point. That's why Mutant Girl takes forever to come out now. And I remember that at the end of episode 12, we were about to get to a big action sequence, and I presume that's what the bulk of this episode is going to be about. So I guess we'll see. Let's check it out. Without further ado, on with the review. Hey guys, we just heard a bang outside. What was that? Don't know why the music faded there. Oh, I guess because it was like a sample from the actual episode. One time. Please, I can't take it anymore. It feels okay now, but I feel bad. Wow. Okay. And this was the last image. Guys, let's deal with them down there while we deal with that robot. As in, let's deal with the people actively terrorizing the city at the moment, and then I guess the giant robot looming over them is going to be the final boss. That's what he means. And then this. I've already commented on this part, but I do really enjoy that one. So yeah. And yes, that's what I was talking about. I do remember that one. Okay, very soft landing for the cracked surface there, but not too shabby otherwise. photos. Oh, wait, no, remember this part 2. We are significantly through the episode right now, and there's not much left, actually. Guys, split up on people that are in danger. These guards are mine. And that was it. That was the last bit. There we go. Yeah. Oh, the server's already cracked. Okay, fair enough then. Sadi, the Knight of Honor. I like the way his eyes glow now. That's an interesting effect they've added. It's like that Blue Beats character. Forget who or what that was. Unfortunately, so have I. There are so many characters in this series. It's like trying to keep track of My Hero Academia. It's like, yes, I recognize that person's physique. What was their name? Yeah. Anyway. Oh, okay. Oh, that's right, Montajid. Yeah, wasn't that like a fusion or something? I think so. Is that like Majid and Monty together? I forgot. Ooh, animation. I'm definitely a fan of like the green screen fire in the background. Actually, that's been like properly placed in, because that fire being behind the car means the car has got to be a separate layer, unless that fire's been masked around the car, and I doubt that's the case. Only I'm that. Oh wait, no, that's never mind. Those are actual fire effects in Gacha, but the sparks at the fronts, give off that illusion, which is great because that made me fool for a second. I forgot exactly what this was. You start making the motion in live motion. Well, again, that explains somewhat of the delay in time. You're stepping up your game. I would not have swung that sword that close to that guard's face, because that's you definitely don't want to do that. Careful, guard number 2. Is he gonna do a thing where like he surges forward and like you see them like fall to pieces? No, never mind. They surge forward. Happens too.
Elemental concentration.
I was about to read that out, but fair enough.
Strikes.
Yeah, I thought so. Surge forward, multiple slashes. Yeah, love it. I do enjoy that. And I enjoy the fact that not only there's like the gacha silhouettes, but they also actually have like lighting and glow effects to them. So they must have been processed separately. He's over there! Get him! I see the gacha fire effects being used properly. That is true, yeah, because they normally just synonymous like explosions or something, right? No, like, yeah, actually seeing them not only like, but also properly sized and proportioned around for like the buildings and such. And the sparks complement that. I guess the only issue with the spark effect is that because it's like an overlay that's across the entire video, one thing that I do sometimes is whenever something like it cuts away, this might not work for your purposes, Sadi, but this is more like personal preference thing. So what I normally do when I have like an overlay like that, say for example in the Mutant Girl Christmas special, there was the snow that was going down. It looked like gray ash in some places, but we don't talk about that. The point was it was meant to be snow falling down, but what I did whenever I had to whenever I had to like go to a different visual. Well, first of all, it's all pre-rendered anyway. But I also went a bit ahead. I took a further ahead part in the overlay so that when it cut towards it, it wouldn't be the snow falling in the exact same place. Because depending on if a person focuses too much, they're going to notice that kind of thing. I notice because that's the kind of thing that I look for, video editor and whatnot. The average person most likely won't. But just in case, that's something to keep in mind. Anyway. Can you stop teleporting already? I think he's just moving quickly, honestly. It seems to me more like he's just, like, doing what Endermen do, and actually they don't actually teleport, they just, like, run really fast. Wait. Why do I feel like someone's behind me?
Tempest Flash.
you could have probably done with like a bit of like a either a close up on the person there or some sort of like actual one at least one swish from his part just to just to solidify that because otherwise it's like he's oh I guess maybe he'd already said that he already done the thing and it was just like a delayed effect. I don't know. So I don't know how I feel about the hero form that Sadi wears. I definitely dislike it less than I used to. I've grown to like it. It's both hideous and beautiful. I mean, that is something that that I guess Aiden strives for sometimes. Because whenever I present him something that is definitely more hideous than beautiful, but something that will fit the story, he'll usually push back at me and he'll say, "Okay, well, you can at least make it like ugly in a cute way or something like that." Not his exact wording, but but yeah, the idea is that you still want to have something to be appealing to look at, but also at the same time understand if it's like meant to look grotesque. Basically, what Hollywood does, and I'm back and forth. I'm of two minds about that kind of concept because I personally think that if something is meant to not look as good or is meant to look just practical in the universe, and that's fine. But Aiden, of course, he's the other perspective. So and he probably feels the same way as most other gacha tubers out there. So I guess take that for what it's worth. I don't
Pitiful.
know. I like how Shardy is actually voice acted now. I mean, I guess it is tempting when the main character is based off of, the creator of the video to eventually give them some sort of voice, especially because I know that Shardy, the creator, has been has for the longest time in the series has at least been tampering with some like voice modulation and some stuff to do with that. Unfortunately, most of it's been AI in the past, but at least for this one. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's your voice your character only. That one makes sense. I guess also the problem with turning this into giving everyone else voices is that a lot of the characters, as many as there are based on existing people, like actual, friends within the circle. So, like, obviously, Josh is Josh, etc. So that's kind of more difficult. Well, I mean, I guess not for Josh. I feel like if you asked Josh to voice himself, he probably would, but some of the other people, I'm guessing, probably not so. Because it's very rare for gacha tubers to want to voice anything for that matter. That's why the high trend was such a big thing back in the day. But yeah, what was I saying about this? I was saying that yeah, it's nice to hear like again actual Shard, I guess, like applying some of the techniques that have been done from the unfortunate AI-isms from previously, from days long past. I hope these attacks remind me of Demon Slayer in a way, especially Zenitsu, who uses a thunder breathing style to translate "zappy zappy painful light tricks come from his sharp murder stick." Thank you for that, because I think I watched like 3 episodes of Demon Slayer and then forgot to continue it. It's not that I got bored with the series, far from it. I just forgot to continue. Uh, I got too distracted writing Mob Slayer. Um, what was I going to say? So yeah, I guess so. I mean, any anime that's based on weaponry and martial arts together have followed in some sort of like these footsteps. I guess sort of based on some like old kung fu movies in some ways. That's like an or samurai movies from the 70s and whatever. It's sort of like a natural evolution of that in a way, and now it's evolved into gacha. It's a fascinating progression to get where we are today, I suppose. There he is! Surround him! There's no way out of this one, Shadi. You're trapped.
Oh, so y'all are approaching me.
I mean, they all approached him before this. Like everyone surged towards him, even though they're clearly outmatched. But okay. uh, keep in mind to make the next episode more quick with editing, animations, and longer duration. I mean, if it's longer duration, it might not end up being quicker paced. Perhaps that depends. Well, then again, this is an action sequence, so it is by its very nature fast paced. I guess potentially the issue with this, of course, because you had like I believe that you said in the last episode it was a part two because you forgot to save it. That was what it says at the end of episode 12. Um, which I guess means you have to rebuild a lot of this actually from scratch. So more kudos to you for that. But yeah, it's also the issue with the famous example of Deathly Hallows Part 1 versus Part 2, the movie. How Part 1 is mostly set up and, you know, Part 2 is all payoff. And if you had to wait between, watch that in theaters and, a full year, then you'd be just completely lost by the end. So it's one of those issues with like Parts 1 and Parts 2, I suppose. But yeah, the only issue here would have been like the hiatus. If people are watching this, in order now, then on the internet, as people often do, then it should be fine. I find with a lot of gacha shows, especially my own, that whenever I publish a new episode, people will go back and watch the other ones. I don't know about you, Shadi, because like your analytics will probably tell you that. I guess like checking the view counts of the other episodes as they go up. Um, I guess I myself watched two more episodes before getting to this point. Um, but yeah, so if anything, if this shows up on people's feeds and they think like, "Oh, this is episode 13, I better check out episode 1," and that's how that goes usually. So yeah, is it two videos into one make it twice as long? I mean, you could. In the case of episodes 12 and 13, because they were intended as like to be one specific thing, that would actually work. But it depends. If you if your method is like all set up in one video, all pay off in a different one on the regular, like this video for example, but intentionally, then I would suggest combining them. If the episodes do have like a beginning, middle, and end that you've established, then then they don't have to be longer necessarily. um if the episode, if you just decide like arbitrarily to cut an episode at a certain length, it's like, oh, this is getting long enough, I'll end the episode here, and then and then I will and then I'll continue from that point onwards, then that's usually not the best idea, but that also means you can combine them a lot more easily. So it really does depend in those situations. But if it's usually with episodes, they have a beginning, middle, and end to them, so you don't want to drag that on too much. Because I have been critical about other gacha videos in the past where it seems like the story is over and the creator just, made a bunch of other stuff and didn't really think it through. So there you go. I hope whatever villain these henchmen work for has some henchman insurance because they're getting murdered. When how it costs to have henchmen because not every villain is rich. Yeah, I'm not really sure actually. That is one thing that you do question. There's a funky frog bait video that's about this and how the sketch is all about how all the henchmen have like really good like benefits because the heroes fighting them as like, don't you realize the villain is just using you? You're nothing but goons to him. Oh, hold on a second. What are you talking about, mate? We get 4 weeks paid vacation. He knows us all by name. Yeah, that's right. And we get maternity leave and paternity leave. It's important for both children to be there at the early stages. And that, by the way, was the actual inspiration for Professor Crack Knuckles' voice. If you've seen like the book with no name campaign that we did on this channel, that was where I got the voice from. It was a combination of my previous like police officer. Hello, hello, what's going on here? And then you just add a little bit of that, make it slower paced, and you got yourself a different character. There you go. Then no one can figure out the accent for. Aside from that, that was the idea for the sketch, and so it's like, okay, yeah, maybe that's a curious thing for some cases, but I guess when the enemy is some sort of like evil like powered warlock of darkness, I'm sure there's some sort of way, they probably get like, I imagine food and lodgings for the henchmen are like a thing that they would do in that situation. Not necessarily like an actual salary, but they just, they live to serve, so to speak. Is my interpretation in most cases, but that's just speculation. Who knows? Let's get that mind do some writing for the dialogues for each character. Well, yeah. I guess there is something to that. Like, even if you don't have a voice acted series, to picture what the character sounds like in your mind as the writer, that can sometimes like inform things. Um, Not necessarily that you don't have to, do you don't have to do like in the case of some writers where they'll just they'll change the way the character like talks. I think KW pointed this out in the Yu-Gi-Oh video that we reviewed recently. All of Joey Wheeler's dialogue was adapted for the Brooklyn accent, so that people didn't know the character they would already see. But it depends. If the character's not like heavily accented, you probably can get away with that. But also just bear in mind, like, what vocabulary do they use? What expressions would they convey? Do they have any particular mannerism in the way they speak or something like that? That's the kind of thing you would probably need to consider more so. Anyway, that's a lot of the episode today is like mostly just personal preference and speculation, to be honest. Because I mean, to be fair, that this is one pretty good action sequence. So we're scraping the bottom of the barrel as far as criticisms go, and most of that comes down to subjectivity. Anyway.
Well, y'all are not gonna survive out of this one.
I would say not going to survive this one, or you're not going to get out of this one. So I guess that's objectively, the grammar in this case. Oh, that was some smooth, like, mouth movement there. I'm usually not. I mean, I usually don't compliment lip syncing, but there you go. That was something. Nope. Man, good thing he stepped out of the way. Jeez. Hey, Sadi. Sorry we're late. It was far from where we saw the chaos happening. I guess he means that he was looking from a distance. Okay. It also depends on the henchmen. Some henchmen are normal humans with brains, others are created by the villain, perhaps a mix of both. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Like, if they're like the DN aliens from Benten Alien Force, they're kind of like both, because they have like xenocytes on them, but I don't think they actually eat at all. And they're also kind of like almost a hive mind, not quite. So that's another question. Yeah, if it's anything like a hive mind or something. Now I've got Rings of Power in my head because we just watched that. The orcs in that one seem to have a little bit more personality and individuality than they kind of had in the books or movies of Lord of the Rings. So they're kind of veering away from what they used to be, which was mindless servants. So yeah, I've been working back. Well, I mean that. Take away from me, was working on episode 3 of Shadow Jewels. That's fine. We were talking about Shadow Jewels actually right now. I used your writing of Joey Wheeler as an example for like a point I was making earlier. So there you go. Just got a haircut and beard. Oh right, that's what you were saying. Sorry, you're late. Everyone's showing up now. Unfortunately, because of the fact this is a short video that and there's not too much to say about it, we are probably going to end the review in the next like 5 minutes, maybe less. So let's see. I'll get my subscribe out of the way first. But all of you are still here. But what VOD watchers subscribe? Anyway. Oh, okay. Right. Never mind. This is like part 3 is like the title was to be continued. Welcome to part 3 to be continued. I can't believe how fast time flies. Okay, so on one hand, it seems like what I was saying before, as far as like you thought, okay, this episode's getting too long, I can't like end it here. I've got to end it here so I can get something out faster. But actually, that revelation at the end, that does feel like the conclusion, or I guess what would have been the conclusion of the previous episode, the two that were fused together. I'm curious now what part 3 would consist of, because part 1 really built into the action sequence, and he knew kind of exactly where it was going. But with this one, it's like, okay, all right, there's a part 3 in here. All right, that's interesting. Give you 2 good news. Those last 2 episodes so far. Okay, good. So I can probably review it on its own. Ideally. But as I was saying before to Sadi, video duration, it should be, whatever the creator needs it to be. I mean, ultimately, yeah, for the purposes of review stuff, it for my uses, it will it's advantageous to have something that's a bit longer. But again, this is not meant for me. It's meant for the world, for the masses, for the other followers of the Shardy YouTube channel. So I'm never I'm never too concerned about that. Usually, whenever I say stuff in a video is too short to review on its own, it's just mostly because of my purposes rather than like, oh, the video should have been longer, and that's part of the critique. No, because I think that the thing is what God, I forgot what the name of the series was now. It's the one that Treat Pop's sister did. The one that like the first episode was literally 50 seconds long. Um, which is just within my lower threshold of like actually being too short for a video. But I mean, and then I'd wait for the second episode to like come out. I forgot what that was called now, but that was like the example where I was like, I'm just gonna wait for this. But yeah. Okay. Is Black Sanction Ninja? I know we reviewed some of their content before. Yes, that is true. We did in fact review some of Chininja stuff. Yeah. Well, what happened was Josh told me that Chininja requested that we didn't like continue reviewing that, but that Chininja was the creator for the for like the Star Wars fan series that we did a while ago. Uh not the one that was all like sketches, and we did like 5 episodes in a row of that one. It was based on like the actual Star Wars characters. This one had all OCs in it. And Chininja himself was the main character. Which is, I guess that's like the MO for this particular friendship group is, they're all, they're the main characters and they all kind of feature in each other's content. Which kind of makes it feel like, I guess actors of, in some sort of like particular film set or something. They all hire each other's projects. Kind of feels a bit like that in a way. So yeah, who knows? Right now it's not finished. It's 10 minutes. Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, for Gacha review, 10 minutes is a good sweet spot. That's for sure. Okay, Dream Pops. That was the name of the series. There we go. All right. Yeah. Has Dream Pops Sister made like any more of those? Because I actually I haven't checked the channel in some time because I forgot the name of the show, so I couldn't. Okay. So, as for this episode, I already said that the action did not disappoint for sure. It was nice to see like the sprinkles of animation, the overlay. Despite what I said before about it, I like the fact that it exists. I like it's one of my favorite things about this is the way that like the green screen effects complement the stuff that is in like the Gacha app itself, or alternatively, like some of the elements that came from Gacha that will like amplify. They're like that have been like modified separately, like how the characters, they're not just like white silhouettes or yellows, almost like tinted silhouette from Sadi in golden form. Whenever like an attack happens, they actually glow a little bit. They've been like processed separately because you can't do that inside of regular gacha. That's my favorite type of gacha videos, and that's why I like to do for my own editing style is, use what gacha has to offer, because that's, what pulled me into gacha in the first place was the fact that it seemed to have like near infinite potential, and everything else that's been added on top of that is, an evolution of that. It's picking up the stuff that has been missing. So that's what I enjoy the most when people do kind of like stick to those origins. Not to say that people who go evolve into tweening animation and such, because are in the wrong for doing that, or for I guess like creating custom drawings and masquerading them as gacha themselves, sort of the Rosie Closey method. But for me at least, this is the kind of thing that says to me, yeah, this is this is what the gacha community can do at its at its finest. That's what but again, that all comes down to personal preference. There's the fact that there are multiple options nowadays, and we have gotten to this point in the community. That to me is fantastic. That's what I hoped for, back when I first joined. But yeah, oh Johnny, you arrived just in time for the end of the video. We're changing Courtney's parents again. Okay, I mean that is one way around that. If people don't know, Johnny's been like making community polls and questions about Courtney, Jess, and Amy regarding their parentage and how to deal with, I guess, the ages of the parents, because they are usually like like miraculous characters or Power Rangers characters, etc., etc. But yeah, so if anyone has any suggestions, go over to Johnny's channel and give your feedback. I did send that on Discord to some people for the record, Johnny, but I just didn't comment on it on here as of yet. Anyway, that's you arrived just in time because we have reached the end of this video. I have no guesses as to what part 3 could actually be, and I feel like this is the beginning of like a different arc of some kind. Actually, wait a second. No, part 3 probably is going to be continued action, I think, because we still have the giant robot that was looming ahead from like episode 12. That, to me, at least, I feel like there should have been something to do with that in this episode, mainly because it was the cliffhanger from episode 12, and now it feels like that's barely been addressed. It's like, oh yeah, look at that thing from last time. Forget about it. Look at the guards first. So maybe it's going to be action, the action continuation. So this fight will, I guess, resume. If that is the case, then that probably should have been also part of this episode. But then again, I can also understand that after 8 months, you wanted something to be out, and this seemed like a good place to draw a part 2 of some kind. Similarly to Fallen Angels. Oh well, we'll see what happens from this point forward. And until that point, please leave a like or dislike because your opinion matters. And subscribe to us already. And on that note, until next time, farewell.